Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. The long-awaited, long-anticipated new Guilty Gear Strive character is here, and it is indeed Sin. I know some people were hoping for, a variety of different characters, but ever since the second story mode came out and Sin had the all-new model, it was a pretty good indicator he would be the next character. And we actually know a decent little bit about him now. We have both the character trailer, which we will break down, and also from IGN here, as you can see, some gameplay. So let's start with the trailer and work into everything else, because Sin, while he's similar in a lot of ways, is pretty different in some key ways as well. So Sin, first up here, just a look. Definitely different in appearance from Exard, the new look that he got in the second story mode with Delilah. For my money, I like it. I like it a lot more than the anime jacket he had in Exard. So we go from there and now directly into some gameplay. So the first thing we'll see here is just his backdash, which backdash works like backdashes do. And then we enter this little sequence here. So just like before, these are some moves that you might recognize. The bull bash overhead and beak driver, the big old poke. And there's follow-ups too, but unlike Exard where you follow up your move with different special moves based on your hunger meter, it's actually pretty different now. He has an all-new mechanic to work with, and the follow-ups are based on the move you do, like this little ditty right here being tricky. We'll go more in-depth once we've covered the totality of the trailer. Next up, we get a taste of his Strike Invincible reversal, going clear through Ramlethal's hit, and yes, just like the other moves, it has the follow-ups baked into it as well. The hunger mechanic is gone, yes, but the new mechanic means all the follow-ups aren't necessarily free to do willy-nilly. His elk hunt slide remains in place, so the animation's a little bit different. Very low to the ground and can low profile quite a few things. And yes, just because the hunger mechanic's gone doesn't mean he stops eating. He gets little buffs when he eats. More gimmicks with the new follow-ups, cancels beak driver into an empty dash and then goes for a throw. Here looks to be close slash and it frames traps into this, which could be a command normal, catches with a counter and then goes into a combo. Once again here we have the overhead into a follow-up into another follow-up. Here, somewhat of an air combo, catches Axel, air dashes the hit, and then juggles on the way down, and ends with a beak driver, which splats, and does the follow-up for the wall break. And in our final sequence here, just showing that he has his two dad supers. He has Soul's Tyrant Rave as one super, and there's an interesting little gimmick to it, which we'll talk about in a moment. And he has Kai's Ride the Lightning, just like he did in Exard. And past all that, he's coming out pretty soon, the 24th specifically. He doesn't say anything about having the pass or not, if you get him early, so I guess it's just the 24th for everyone. And naturally, we got at least 2 more DLC characters coming in 2023, along with 2 new stages, and at some point we also have the big balance patch, which is supposed to be sometime winter 2023. That all said, now let's get to the nitty-gritty of the gameplay. So gameplay! The first thing you'll probably notice here is he has a meter above his meter, right? So above the usual gauge, we have something else, and this is what replaces the hunger meter from before. Now, how this used to work, for those unaware, he had the hunger gauge, you can see by the big meat thing, right? And all of his specials used a hunger gauge. And you could also cancel special into special into special into special as long as you had the meter. Of course, the thing is, you need the meter, right? So you could eat food in the middle of the match to rebuild your meter. A little vulnerable by doing it, but you do it when it was safe to do, right? So offense-wise, you can do just about anything you want until you run out of the gauge, and when you run out of the gauge, then he's hungry, he doubles over, and you're probably going to get hit. Now how it works is pretty different. So the meter fills up by itself. It'll start maxed out, and when you do follow-ups to your moves, then it'll take a bar each time. The thing is, unlike before, it's not just canceling your special into canceling your special and canceling your special. Every special now has canned follow-ups. So Beak Driver, the fantastic long-range poke right there, that itself doesn't take meter anymore, but the follow-up to it does. Any of the canned follow-ups take exactly 1 meter for each follow-up you do. And yes, you can do multiple follow-ups. You don't just have to do the one. The base moves themselves do not take any of the meter. There's attack follow-ups, as you've seen. There's this follow-up here, which is basically just kind of like an empty dash to fake people out. There's also seemingly this big energy punch one, which you can do, then cancel that follow-up into the empty follow-up, and before they land, you can juggle them. So here they're using the basically the uppercut invincible style move, and then follow up again. So that would be 3 follow-ups, 3 bars. Big punch also is seemingly a guard crush, going by the block animation on Eno, so probably a lot of gimmicks with that. Not the least of which in the trailer here does another follow-up here, so that'd be 2 meters used. And the empty dash basically brings him in. I'm assuming they'd be maybe slightly plus on block, and then goes for the overhead with the dust. So as far as the follow-ups go, we know there's the empty dash, the regular strike, and seemingly the guard crush strike. And you can get these off any of his special moves. So the beak driver, the huge poke, bull bash, which is the overhead, the elk hunt, which is the low, or his new uppercut style of move. Any of the moves that are seemingly a special move, you can do any of these follow-ups from. Each follow-up costing you a meter, and you can also do multiple follow-ups as well, burning multiple meters. Like in this sequence here. So it goes for normal, special cancels the beak driver, does follow-up number 1, the hit, and then cancels that into a follow-up number 2, the empty dash. So basically his new meter system still lets you go kinda crazy, but just crazy in a different way from Exard, specifically. To his benefit, I would say, I guess, just because there's no hunger burnout state at all that I can see. If you use up all the meter, you just gotta wait for it to regenerate, that's it. But the enemy's not gonna get a free hit on you. Now here to showcase the uppercut again, once again, strike invincible, and you're allowed to do your follow-ups from it so you can get a hit or a dash or whatever. Also, with how the follow-ups work, apparently you can catch people trying to punish your uppercut, so gotta watch out for that. Now, while the direct hunger mechanic is gone, Sin still gotta eat. He's a growing boy, right? So quarter circle back and punch lets you eat. Now, the eating of food is random. He'll eat something different each time, and he'll have a different effect. Now, as to what the effects are, sadly they declined to mention. I guess we'll have to find out when he's live. But Sin can still eat mid-match, and he gets bonuses for eating. Also to note, the low profile on the elk hunt is the real deal, as he very cleanly goes under fireballs. And if it can go under projectiles pretty easily, it's probably going to go under a fair amount of normals as well. So maybe like Eno, Stroke the Big Tree light. As for his supers, he retains Ride the Lightning. So just like his daddy, he's got Ride the Lightning, and just like Guilty Gear Exard, it's a little bit different, as he charges multiple times, and you can choose the direction on each of the charges. To the point where, say, if you want to avoid breaking the wall, you can actually just charge the other way out, and then not break the wall and keep them in the corner. Also, in a new mechanic, take a peek at the damage on this one here. Looks normal, and then, whoa, what happened there? So he can actually do a 4th charge, and the 4th charge will just take up whatever meter you have left and deal damage with it. So you could have like 51 tension. So you could have like 1 extra meter, and you'll still do the 4th charge. And effectively, the more meter you put into the 4th charge, the more damage you're going to get out of it. So if you're looking for a little bit of extra reach at the end of a combo, and if you have, say, 100% tension, this will definitely be a way to do it. And his other super is the Tyrant Rave, just like Soul. So 1 super from each daddy. Now, Ride the Lightning is invincible startup. Tyrant Rave is not. Now, the thing here, too, just like Ride the Lightning, there's a little extra gimmick here. So there's a sweet spot to this. You can actually time when the final punch happens, and if you hit it correctly, you get a much larger amount of damage. To compare, in this Tyrant Rave, timing's not perfect, and Kai gets to basically tech immediately, and the damage isn't as high. Versus this one, which blasts him clear across the screen and does substantially more damage. So a little bit of like a timing and skill element to the move. Almost reminds me of like Makoto in BlazBlue, the Squirrel Girl. And that's what we know about Sin for now. So that's very much the basics. I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit more that wasn't fully discussed at IGN with the developers, and well, we'll just have to figure it out as the time comes. Like the eating mechanic. We know it buffs him, but buffs what exactly? They kind of declined to mention. But that's the news as it stands, so make sure to check the channel in the future. As for Sin, we'll have Sin content for sure, combo guides, big guides, tutorials, all that kind of stuff. Look forward to it, it'll be here. And otherwise, well, we're at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Guilty Gear.